I'm Matthew Stahl. Welcome to the 6th episode of The Propaganda Review, where I analyze modern propaganda material and try to get to the truth of the story. In this episode, I'll discuss the hype surrounding new AI models. Is it real, or was it all just to attract investors? The AI boom has been taking the world by storm in the past few years. To the average observer, it seems like in 2021 we only had whispers of AI developments, and then in no time at all, a whole collection of generative AI tools released for public use. These include DALL-E, Midjourney, and Stable Diffusion for image generation, and ChatGPT and its various clones for text generation. When these models were released, their limitations were very apparent and they would rarely pass a Turing test. Suddenly, in what seems like a rapid acceleration of progress, the image models produce convincing pictures of most things, and GPT-4 improved greatly on 3.5's conversation skills. It seems like what should happen now, if the growth stays exponential, is that all work might be replaced with AI in a matter of a few years, right? Well, in reality, the industry didn't actually change in the same way the public is perceiving that it has. You see, machine learning, the fundamental idea behind all AI, is actually very old news. We've known for a long time how to get computers to learn patterns and quote-unquote think with neural networks. The race to create generative AI didn't really begin until 2016, when OpenAI was founded. They had to wait this long for chiefly three reasons. GPU technology was finally getting powerful enough to make inefficient deep learning models run fast enough. They had to wait until there was a satisfactory amount of training data. And around this time, the transformer architectural model was just invented by Google. Actually, after the release of Google's research paper on transformers, it wasn't just OpenAI who was racing for a model that could pass the Turing test. Every big company you can think of was working on the same problem. Of course, this work being confined to R&D, the public had no idea of what was brewing behind these closed doors. Where OpenAI succeeded, and the others failed to do, was in getting a lightweight and simple tech demo ready for public use as soon as possible. They realized that the most important part of this race would be amazing the public and starting the next tech craze. They didn't need to make the most advanced AI on paper. They just needed to wow people. They were determined to make this the next cloud computing, the next IoT, the hot new innovation that could get them billions of investor dollars. The free version of ChatGPT actually uses a pretty outdated language model, GPT 3.5. It was even outdated when ChatGPT was first released, and when it became the fastest growing software application ever, the model was almost a year old. And even then, GPT 3.5 was really just GPT-3 with more processing power and some updated training data. You see, what OpenAI was trying to create was not just a tech demo. No, they were already trying to build a quality, user-friendly product. It was what was necessary in order to generate the hype they wanted. They had to put lots of time into QA testing, making sure it wasn't so powerful as to scare people or conjure up thoughts of extinction from AI. And they had to make sure it wouldn't say anything controversial. You may notice that alongside the purely AI generative text, ChatGPT also has what seem like curated bits that it can occasionally go into. Like, I'm not prepared to answer this topic or something like that. That is what OpenAI realized they needed to do in order to get this thing ready for a public demo. It had to go smoothly, and that meant putting the reins on its power. And it worked. ChatGPT generated the hype storm that was needed to get that sweet investor cash. Then OpenAI introduced GPT-4 as a paid upgrade shortly after. Whether intentionally or not, it helped to sell an exaggerated idea that the industry is innovating more rapidly than it actually is, generating even more hype. While we can dream about all the applications generative AI could have in the near future, so far even the best models require some human review if their output is to be used professionally. And in the cases of image, sound, and code generation, AI simply cannot be creative. It replicates patterns which it has seen before, and that's all it can do. Changing that would require ditching the machine learning technique entirely. Thus, we would have to completely reconsider what AI even is. For the foreseeable future, AI will just be stuck imitating things it has seen before, never creating anything new. There have been lots of examples of people using ChatGPT alone to code something like a Snake game, which is certainly impressive, but there are thousands of examples of Snake for ChatGPT to copy. If they instead prompted it to code something which doesn't already exist somewhere on GitHub, it would absolutely fail. So the hype is quite overblown, and simultaneously the fears about AI are quite overblown as well. The most sensible position to have about this innovation is that it will be remembered much like the cloud. When the cloud first came out, everyone was thinking that no one would need a powerful computer or large hard drives anymore. The only thing everyone would need is an internet connection, so you could use the cloud. Of course, we know that didn't end up happening. We still constantly use cloud-based services, and they've revolutionized the industry, but they haven't come close to achieving what was promised. And so, just as with other technologies, AI has been hyped to the moon and it will probably be a slight disappointment compared to what you expected, no matter if that expectation was AI being revolutionary or disastrous for humanity. Disappointing, however, doesn't mean irrelevant. In the next episode, which is also the final episode of the Propaganda Review podcast, I will discuss the prospect of a future filled with AI and what that says about the nature of propaganda.